Hello, everyone on Pod Talks. Beate Chelette here. Thanks for the awesome introduction. And let's dive into the super simple 3 secrets to finding opportunities as a podcast guest. So I'm known as a growth architect. And what that means is I work with visionaries and thought leaders who want to grow their authority and scale their impact. What this means is that I help people when they are either wanting to grow their business and they need strategies, or they have grown their business and now they need strategies to scale. One of the things that I believe in, and this is many times considered unsexy because we are going to take a 30,000-foot plane that circles and we're going to have to land it somewhere. So you have to have a strategy. I believe that everything in business needs to be a strategy. So when I was thinking about what I was going to talk to you about today, I wanted to explain to you some of these concepts around strategy and why strategy really is very exciting and very, very creative, and hopefully help you to make your guesting experience a much more powerful experience and for you to get something out of it that really will help you to grow your business, to bring in more clients, to engage your community, and to become the authority, the expert in your industry, and then go out and make the money that you so richly deserve. At the end of the day, we are in entrepreneurship because we believe in what? Freedom of time and money. And in order for you to get freedom of time and money, you have to have a strategy that's going to get you there. Because the saying always says, if you don't know where you're going, any way will get you there. Let's dive into these 3 different strategies I'm talking about today. So the one I've already hinted on, number 1, secret number 1 is podcast guesting is gasp shock a strategy. It is specifically a growth strategy for your business. It should be for you a strategy that you have deliberately chosen with one goal in mind, and that is to get your message in front of the right audience, to have more people hear what you have to say, to have them listen to what you say and go, wow, you are amazing. And then they'll go and follow the engagement links that are in the show notes. Then they find out how even more amazing you are based upon the thing that they follow. And then you have a strategy to put them into your community. And then you send them stuff and they love you so much that they want to work with you. Now, that is what we want to achieve with a good podcasting strategy. Now, in order for you to do that, the first secret you have to solve is that there is a idea of a consistency. And I'm sure you heard this also from many other speakers and hosts, but when you're guesting, you can probably speak like I can to a number of different topics. I was a single mom. I was broke. I overcame a lot of adversity. I built and sold a business to Bill Gates for millions of dollars. So I've had an exit. I understand about strategies and systems. I do a lot of leadership development. I help my clients also come up with organizational plans. And if I talk to you about all the different things that I know, it may sound confusing. So if I go to a podcast guest, as a podcast guest, to a podcast host, and I tell them sort of in this, I call this the knowledge vomit. I knowledge vomit everything I know right there in front of them. And I said, here, choose. The podcast host is going to say, that's not my job. It's your job to pitch me. It's your job to look at my show. It's your job to ask me, who's your audience? It's your job to tell me how what you do fits into for my audience. And that's already where in the beginning, there's a lot of disconnects. So if you master that, you still have the second part of this, which is what you can talk about and what the host wants to hear about actually congruent with your business? Now, all of this has to be aligned neatly. And so the way we do this here at the Growth Architect is very simple. We build an umbrella. So that's the knowledge umbrella. In my case, it's Growth Architect. Under the Growth Architect, we have all the different pieces nicely laid out as a transformation journey for our clients. From when they start with the idea, to the offer, to the systems, to the team, to the leader. And under this umbrella, I can talk about all of these things, but it's all about the Growth Architect. So when I go and pitch it, when you go and pitch it, it needs to sound like it is one cohesive system, not 16 different things. Now, the next thing is you are going to ask your host who their audience is. And then in your mind, you go through your transformation journey and you say, we can either go here or can go here. What will resonate with your audience more? That's why I have, I think it's some 80 5-star ratings on PodMatch, because I'm very consistent. They know what they get. I tailor this under my umbrella. So you can customize and tailor, but it has to still be under one umbrella. So that's secret number one, is to be very clear about what is that strategy, because only if I talk about what I know about and then build the community and people come to me, do I build my expertise and my authority in my subject. I become the go-to business strategist, which is my plan. So think about that. Let's talk about secret number 2. Time and money invested in a podcast guesting strategy should have you want an ROI, a return on investment. And what that means is that you are not going into a podcast guesting strategy to be liked. I always jokingly say to my clients, if you want to be liked, talk to your mom. That's not what business is about. What business is about is that you are in front of people that are interested in what you have to say. And because they're so excited about what you say, they're interested in buying from you. So I've already laid this out. So I want you to really keep that in mind. Here's the goal. There's the goal. There's where you are. These are the 2 points that you need. Then you can devise a strategy on how to get from here to there by reverse engineering this. And then you know exactly the systems that you need to build to get there. And then you consistently build your authority following those systems after the strategy you created that gets you to the goal. That's it. It's really not difficult. It's a lot of work. So an ROI expectation means that I want you to go in and say, how am I going to get maximum ROI out of this? So number 1, you're going to be promoting this like crazy, because the more things are out there, they're linking back to this interview, the more it helps your authority. The more links coming into your website, which is the more interviews you do, the more the host will link back to your website, the higher your search engine optimization, the higher your ranking goes. So you're doing this with a very deliberate attempt that the more you promote this, even if it is the link to the show on the host's website, because that is backlinked to you, you still get a lot of recognition. So there should be an expectation from you. What is your ROI other than SEO? It also has to be what we'll talk about in secret number 3, the monetization part that a lot of people completely forget. That is, I think, the most important secret sauce of everything about podcast guesting. So expect the ROI. So let's go to secret number 3. In secret number 3, you now need to go in and you say, what is the power? What is my maximization strategy of having been a guest on a show? Here you are evaluating in the beginning which show you want to be on, because only if that show targets your ideal audience should you really be on that show. Now, I could certainly talk about fitness, but maybe not really. I could talk about being a single mom, but that's not my audience right now. I can talk about mindset. I talk about mindset as it pertains to business strategy because I do believe that there's a fit. I don't talk about nutrition. I don't talk about the books that I read. So be clear about who you're getting in front of, because again, this is all having to be, how do you monetize the time and investment you're already making into podcast guesting? So now you have identified the host that has an audience that is that's your dream audience. Now you are giving a great interview that's specifically targeted for this audience. After the guesting interview is over, you thank the host and you say something along these lines. Hey, Alex, thank you so much. I'm really super pumped. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that you have given me the opportunity to bring my message to your audience. As you know, I'm a business strategist and I do a lot of growth architecture around how to grow your business. As my thank you to you, I want to offer you a brainstorm session, exploratory conversation, strategy session, discovery call, whatever you want to call it. And I want to put my brain into your business and I want to really brainstorm what's going on, because that's what I do. Is it something you're interested in? Because what I like to do is I like to return the favor. You've given me something, I want to give you something. And if there's something that comes up that I can help you with, I will tell you. If there's something that I cannot help you with, I will also tell you. If there's something that comes up that someone else that I have spoken to can help you with, I will also tell you. How does that sound? 99% of all cases, unless the interview was a complete disaster, people say, wow, that's really generous of you. How do I set this up? And I want to set this up right away. So I have an automation for that where I click a button in my CRM and then it thanks the host. I send them a little gift and because I want to remind them that we had such a great time together. So they schedule this follow-up session and then I'll keep my word. So I'm not selling them anything. I mean, sometimes it does come up where people then say, wow, that sounds really interesting. Can you tell me more about that? And then I will tell them, but it's a soft sell, because that would come across as probably inappropriate. So if you are not maximizing the strategy that comes after interview, you're leaving money on the table and you're leaving relationships on the table. So one of the examples I also want to give you, it's not always just about a client, but it's also about relationships and partnerships. With one of the other podcast hosts, where we did a podcast swap, where I was on her podcast, she was on my podcast. We are now talking about creating a business together, because we are so aligned in the way we think and how we do things. And this is something I don't want to be doing by myself. So her and I are talking about creating this business idea. Then I had been on Let's Go Win, the podcast from J.M. Ryerson. And I liked him so much that I invited him to my podcast. So we did another swap. And then when he was here, I went to visit him and we had a great lunch. And he introduced me to someone who then also was on my podcast, who then introduced me to a VA company, because I was working on a program that I'm launching very, very soon that is designed to help podcast hosts who do not maximize their show as they should be, because I'm a strategist, right? So I have all these workflows and processes. So I was thinking to myself, and I was talking about this with JM and with Tommy, who he introduced me to. Said, what do you think of this idea? Because both of them have shows. And they said, that's a really wonderful idea. Why don't you talk to my friend Jamie? And then when Jamie and I spoke, it was a match made in heaven, because now I can have a VA that takes my workflow that I train them in. Now I have a product that I can sell to a podcast host to maximize their show. I mean, that is sometimes how these opportunities come up. And it would never have happened if my only idea was to be on the show. And frankly, as a podcast host myself, if somebody just wants to be on the show and then they go like, I just want the exposure, I don't want anything else from you, it kind of leaves you a little bit of a negative taste in your mouth, because I'm really not your promotion vehicle. I'm here to give a good show to my listeners, but I also want to have an engagement. But because I'm also a guest, I've taken these experiences and put that into what I know about this. So that's as much as I want to share with you today. So these are my 3 secrets in how to put a solid growth strategy behind podcast guesting and an ability to monetize it. So why don't we talk about this? Put it in the comments. Would love to hear what you have to say about this and look forward to continuing the conversation. That is it for right now, and back to Pod Talks. This is Beate, and goodbye.